still this is haram. Even if you don't do anything, if you don't tell this to the people, you keep it to yourself, you don't act according to this, but still it is haram that you feel that the mercy of Allah is impossible to reach you. Even a person who has killed tens of prophets, okay, what can be worse than this? To kill tens of prophets. Still is not allowed to think that he will never be forgiven. There is always a chance for repentance and being forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So al-ya's min rawhillah is one of the major sins. Okay? Or on the opposite, al-amnu min makrillah, to feel safe from Allah's plans, from Allah's, you may say, tricks. Of course, Allah doesn't make tricks, but it is counter tricks of yourself. So, for example, a person who does everything which is bad, then in the end thinks that Allah cannot do anything to harm him. This is al-amnu min makrillah, to feel you are safe and Allah cannot stop you, cannot harm you. This is also a major sin. So you find sometimes, even in fiqh, that some qualities of the soul are considered to be haram. And this is because of their grave effect upon the spirit. If someone has this idea that he will never be forgiven, you know how he easily would be surrendering himself to shaitan? If I commit some sins and then I think there is no chance to be forgiven, so do you think then I would stop committing sins? No. I would go on and on because I say, okay, there is no point. So even in Sharia it said that it's haram to feel despair. Okay, so let me summarize what we said, because this is a very important discussion. So I said, in fiqh we are mostly concerned with acts, mostly. There are very exceptional cases that in fiqh we talk about the qualities of the soul or about the attributes. Most of the time we are concerned with the acts. In akhlaq we are concerned firstly with the qualities and secondly with the acts. Okay? Another difference is that in fiqh we want something which can be practiced by average people. Something which would not be too difficult. Something that an old or a very young person, educated or uneducated, a person who lives in city or in village or in a desert or on mountain or in a cave, everyone can practice. Something in all ages, in modern age or pre-modern age or post-modern age, can be practiced. Okay? But in akhlaq, we want something which gives us guidance for the people who have higher capacities, who have higher intelligence, who have higher ambitions, who want to be the best or among the best. Okay? This is also another difference. Something else which is important and I should mention, because we have to cover the book in 8 sessions, at least most of it, and inshallah the rest you can read it yourself, is about one of the outcomes of self-knowledge, which I have mentioned here, and that is about a very important characteristic of human beings, which I have mentioned here. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in the way that normally we understand and notice only changes. This is a very important point. Have you had this experience that sometimes you have those who wear glass? You have your glasses, but still you look for it. It's possible. Because it has been on your eyes for some time, then you don't notice it. Or sometimes, you may have your watch or ring, and then still you look for it. Or something even more obvious. When you are putting on your dress, in the first place, you feel your dress. For example, if it is warm or hot, it is soft or not, you feel it. Okay? But after a while, you forget it. Just before I talked about this, you were not feeling your dress. Yeah? Or when you sit on a chair, in the beginning, you feel it. Otherwise, then you don't feel it. Unless it constantly is annoying you. Then that's different. But normally, we only notice new things. Or what I say, changes. Okay? This is a very important point. Why? Because if we were supposed to always pay attention to the things, then the very first thing that happens to me when I wake up would make me busy till I go to sleep. Then I couldn't leave, So, by forgetting something, then I can pay attention to something new. Okay? Otherwise, we couldn't be active in our life. It is not possible for human beings to be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that La yashghaluhu sha'nun and shan. One of the qualities of Allah is nothing make him busy so that he neglect another thing. If billions of people at the same time call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah can pay attention to all of them. But human beings normally can pay attention to one thing very clearly and seriously at a time. By training and education, you can increase. For example, when you first learn how to drive, you can only drive. If someone speaks to you, or if you, for example, you want to drink or eat, you cannot. Or listen to radio, you cannot. Okay? But when you are used to drive, then you can do something also in addition to driving. So it's possible to train yourself that at the same time pay attention to several things. Okay? But it's very unlikely that you can pay attention strongly to many, many things at the same time. For ordinary people, I'm talking about ordinary people. I'm not talking about the spiritual people. About the ordinary people. It's very unlikely. Okay, what happens then is that we pay attention to the things which happen, the things which are new, the things which just come. And this is very important, also defensive plan that Allah has given us. Because the things which are already there, somehow we have looked after them in advance. So we must be very concerned about the things which just happen. Okay? So that we know how to make our relation to them in the way that doesn't harm us. Okay? You look how Allah has wisely planned everything. So we are concerned about the things which are new and every bad act or good act, every bad habit or good habit, also we are very much attentive to that in the first place because it's new to us. But gradually my attention would be diverted to the other things which would be new for me. And I would be very easily forgetting these things. Okay? So something that we can